All righty, guys, it's Tuesday. I know it's election night, but you know we do this every Tuesday out here. Tonight, we have an incredible guest with us. Some of you, there we go, may know who this guy is. If not, you're going to get a very, very valuable lesson tonight. Now, I am going to say this right up front. I do have election results sitting over my iPad. I'm going to be checking every so often because I'm just like you. I want to know who's going to be our next president. You know, and I will say this at the beginning of this show. I hope to God, whoever wins, everybody gets along. There's no burning of towns. There's no looting of stores. There's none of that crap. But let's go over the usual stuff like we usually do. And, hey, we got Ryan Zuvich. I hope I'm saying that right, brother. I always feel like I'm messing your name up. In there. Joshua Rakes, Clement First, deliberately bearded. How are you, my brother? And, of course, look at that. We got Sober Chef Eric in the comments, and we have him on the screen.
Magic.
I know, right? Don't you love this digital
No
age?
hands.
Yeah. Rob Brennan, brother, how are you? McMahon, what up? And there's Billy Rivers. Okay. Now, as we always do, Eric, introduce yourself to the world, brother.
Alrighty. Guys and gals, if there are any, you're welcome as well. I'm Sober Chef Eric, and I've got a channel where I do gluten-free vegan cooking tutorials to help people learn how to cook. And some people ask for recipes, so I'll make them and do a tutorial. I also do vegan men's grooming reviews, and that's on my channel. Hey, thanks, Joshua. Might be going down to a business beard here pretty soon, but we'll get into that later. I've been in the bearded community for a little over a year now, and I've had my channel for a little over 6 months. I was a chef for over 30 years, restaurant manager, whatever you want to call it. And I started recovery back in the summer of 2011. So I've been sober just over 9 years, and I've been plant-based for the past few months.
Well, I will say it like this. Happy birthday, brother. It's good to have you here. It really is. When I keep hearing your story and I keep learning more about you, you're just one of those people that you want to be around, you know. You know how you hear people talk? It's like those special ones that help change the world. Watch you.
Wow. Thanks. That's a big compliment.
Well, and this is exactly why I'm saying this. Not a lot of people can step forward and go, hey, I have a problem. I have an issue. I don't have control of something. You did it. You're also being straightforward about it and going, yeah, I had these problems. I was doing this. I was doing that. And guys, we'll get to that too in a little bit. But you're telling people it's okay and you're there for them.
Yeah. I mean, people were there for me during my early recovery. People are still there for me today. Recovery just it's not just like, especially with mood disorders and mental health. It's not like, okay, boom, you're healed. You're better now.
Right.
It's more of a back burner issue for me right now. It becomes a front burner issue occasionally, but it's not like early in my recovery where I had nothing else on the stove. All I had was that pot. Whereas now I've got my YouTube pot, I've got my beard community pot, I've got this pot, I've got that pot. My stove's pretty full, and I have to rotate things from back burner to front burner, but it works.
So I'm assuming because you've been in recovery a while, you know what your triggers are, you know how to manage them, and you have really good safety features that are in place for your protection.
Yeah. Especially for like a couple weeks ago, I was on a med change, which are always kind of rough when your body's weaning off one thing and adding another. And then the two primary ones, my risperidone and my Prazosin. The Prazosin's for my night terrors from all the different trauma I've had. And then the risperidone is for my anxiety. I'll use the term, most people don't understand it, but my antipsychotics. And that's because I do get verbal hallucinations. So when people say, I got somebody talking to me in my head, I do. And it's different voices. It's not just it's not just internal self monologue like we all have. I have that as well. But, I have people talking shit when everything isn't under control. So with those two things being out of whack, I didn't do any content for a couple of weeks, and I did a vlog about it yesterday to kind of let people know, I'm not going to be as consistent as Dan and Dave and Chris and all these other guys, but when I'm able, I'm going to be putting out content. And I know consistency helps your channel grow. I'm not worried about my channel growing. I did this so I could have a platform to talk about recovery and be an example of recovery and change the stigma of recovery from mood disorders and substance abuse.
Lacey, I think you just touched on something right there that is so freaking huge, okay? The stigma of going, I have an issue, and that is so powerful that a lot of people cannot do that because they don't want to admit that. They're like, I have failed. I'm not a man. I'm less than this. It takes such a great strength to step forward and go, I need help, and it's amazing how you're able to put it that way. And I get what you're saying about the voices in your head, because I do a lot of work with disabled vets.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that the voices in your head, Jesus, they're powerful. They can literally destroy your life like that if you let them.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way I got rid of them was I got tanked almost every night or obliterated or whatever. I was very, very high functioning, addict, alcoholic.
Yeah.
I never got fired. I never had a DUI, never got arrested. I don't count MPs as that because it's not a city or county jail.
And Mrs. Bluegrass, if you're watching, see.
Yeah. But, some of the most honest people I've met are people in recovery, because they're like, hey, I have issues. I'm working on them. I'm trying to get better. You see a lot of people that are still in the depths of their depression or their substance abuse that are like, I don't have a problem. I'm doing okay. I can handle this. Guess what? You can't.
Exactly. I think some of my famous last words are, I'm not drunk. I'm fine. I can keep going. I'm okay.
Oh, yeah.
Or I've said it publicly. And for anybody who hasn't heard before, when I worked for Kroger in their call center, I worked the graveyard shift, and I kept the same hours on my off hours. So I was completely flipped. And how I dealt with that, not being around people or talking to people, I drank.
Yep.
My entire off time, I drank until I hit the floor, got up, took a shower, went and got more beer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had more than my fair share of shower drinks.
Yes.
I know John Flying Beardman likes, shower food. I never went down the shower food train, but shower drinks. Yeah.
So what was that one moment for you? I don't think you ever said it, that you just went, all right, it's time.
Well, basically, July 2nd, 2011, I had my first technical day off in 3 months. I was working 17-hour shifts. I was managing a Jack in the Box. It was a 24-hour location, and I had to fire 3 supervisors because they wanted to make a rap uniform or a rap video in their uniform on the clock, and they weren't of the proper ethnicity to use the terminology they were using.
Okay.
And then they posted it on YouTube and even tagged Jack in the Box in the video. You don't think Jack in the Box isn't big enough where they don't have people, so basically, luckily, I was not drinking that night, because 85% of successful suicides have alcohol in their system. No, they also throw a lot of those towards marijuana, but marijuana, you smoke too much weed, you're going to hope a pizza comes flying through your window.
I was gonna say,
You
I've
know,
never been a violent
I've
weed addict
never
in my
known
life,
anybody
ever.
want to harm themselves on weed, but it stays in your system so long. That's why they'll attribute suicide to that as well. And the alcohol industry doesn't want people to know that fact. So they're like, no, it was the weed. It was the weed, you know. But so I called suicide hotline, was on hold for 25 minutes, not pleasant. And it was like, okay, it's either it's time to kill yourself or you need to go to the hospital and figure out what the fuck's going on. So I made the decision to go to the hospital, and I didn't smoke weed after that, but I had moved in with my brother and his family so they could keep an eye on me. And my psychiatrist, a couple months later, is like, dude, you're still drinking. You smell like booze right now. He's like, if you want me to help you, you got to stop. You got to stop playing ping pong with your brain chemistry. And that was just kind of the kick in the ass I needed. He's like, hey, if you want things to change, you got to change. So that's kind of where I wouldn't call it a rock bottom moment or, a moment of clarity or any of that stuff. Because, for me, that just wasn't what it was. I just wanted to stop hating myself and wanted to quit wanting to kill myself. So.
And Mick, also with all the election stuff going on tonight, I will tell you flat out, brother, I've had a hard time getting into certain areas. I had to refresh this stream 10 times before I could even send Eric an invite. So, guys, if it's lagging bad or whatever, I'm very sorry for that. There's nothing I can do to control it. This is the only device using Wi-Fi on that network in my house at this point. It is actually brutal out there for a lot of sites tonight.
Yeah, especially depending on how close you are to towers, and there's so many different variables if you have cable or over the air or satellite or.
Now, I like the fact that you just said when you originally went to go get help, you automatically put a safety net in there. You moved in with your sister and your brother-in-law, I think you just said?
They moved me in with them. My sister-in-law was because my brother had to go out of town on business. And so my sister-in-law was like, do you want me to get you some more clothes? Because all I had was the swim trunks, the tank top, and the flip-flops that I was in when I went to the hospital.
Yeah.
So I gave her my keys and everything, and she went to get me some stuff. And when she came back that next day, she came and visited me every single day I was in the hospital. Sister-in-law, not blood, and she's like, that place was so depressing. You're never stepping foot in there again. So she squared away my lease with the, with the office. She packed up every single thing in my apartment, cleaned it, did it all by herself. Well, she had to hire some helpers, but
yeah, I know what you're saying.
And she's like, yeah, you're going to stay with us until we figure something out. So
and you've got two families in this world, I've always said. Mm-hmm. You've got the family you're born into, and sometimes that's a good thing, Yep. But other times you've got to have that family that is drawn to you. Hey, Pete, what? That family that's drawn to you and is there for you. I've always said blood really doesn't make you family. Loyalty and respect does. Mm-hmm. And you ran into a problem that is so common in the veteran community. Mm-hmm. You just said when you called the suicide hotline, you were on hold for 25 minutes. That's why so many people, I think, can be saved if they can just get better funding for certain things and pay for better operators. Not better operators. God, that sounds wrong. More operators and, just get
more is the key, because the way suicide hotline works, I've did some research to figure out why I was on hold for 25 minutes. And what happens is you make the call, boom, suicide hotline. You hit dial. It goes to the closest facility to you.
Yeah.
Now, if all those lines are occupied, then it goes to the next closest and to the next closest. So I was in Denver, Colorado. The first, and it takes time to route that call. It has to ring so many times, and it has to get routed, and then, and that has to repeat and repeat. I ended up talking to somebody in Chicago from Colorado. That's how many, I don't know how many, So, Metal Chef.
And Rick,
Um,
get a transfusion. That's all I can say.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, either they didn't have enough people or, granted, this was a Saturday night around 10 o'clock at night, and I'm sure that's probably a popular time.
Yeah, but it's also one of those that because from working in a call center for a while, I hate the metrics thing and how they staff. Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord, I loathe that, because it could be there's nothing, just nothing. And then when something goes wrong, it is like, the dam bursts and here comes the freaking tsunami to wipe out the little town,
Yeah.
And hey, Donald Long, welcome.
Donald.
Yeah, and I agree with deliberately bearded right here.
Yeah,
I think you held on the whole time because, like I said, I think you're one of those that's changing the world because you're not false. I've seen you on other live streams. I've watched your videos. We've had interactions behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And you are the same guy right now on that screen that you are in those.
Yeah. Like I say, I had 30 years of practicing lying because I had to be able to work, How you doing today? I'm doing great. When you're serving or bartending, nobody's going to tip somebody that's in a crappy mood, so I either was doing this or just, like that commercial where the person holds up the sign with the happy face,
Yes.
You learn how to hide, especially from your family, how you're feeling, the fact that you want to hurt yourself, you hide that from everybody. So, and plus in the 70s, things were completely different. I'm 52,
Oh, heck. Joshua.
Hey, it was Whiskey and Hardtack. I'm guessing it's Holly, but if not, Don, what's up?
Yeah, but Joshua, I get that, bro. My real mother belongs raising cobras. They kind of have the same mentality. You make them mad, you're about to get bit, but you never know what can happen later on in your life and what things can do. I've always said I was nothing until I met my family. And once I met them, then I became something, And Holly, been a long time. What are you hiding from the snack bitch? What the damn, woman? I even got reviews out for you. I still have 2 more in reserve, but I'll get those out soon, I promise.
Yeah, I watched your all-nighter. I actually have that oil. That was my first oil that I didn't get. That wasn't a sample from Whiskey and Hardtack for me.
Great freaking oil. It really, truly is.
What's up, G-Lou?
And I love how you put that because, and I hate using this word, but it's the only word I can. Addicts are sneaky creatures. They learn how to lie. They learn how to put on that face. And it coupled with, as you admitted, the voices in your head, they're like, just like him. He doesn't need to know. Just shut up. Tell him what he needs to know. And it's weird how, now that I'm busy, he wants him. Holly, I've always wanted you. You're awesome. Now your partner, Steve. But I know. He's your special needs hire. So, okay. And guys, don't go running to Steve's town. I'm talking him crap. I love Steve Beardsonwood. He's a great guy. He's a damn good brother. But yeah, so it's funny how when you drop that wall of not lying and have to face that reality, how hard it is at first and how scary it is and how, God, I had to go through cycles, get through this next hour, get through this next hour, get through this next hour. Sorry, Pete White, I do not have a code to Chronic. You may want to check with Bearded Life or maybe Johnny Germs. I think one of those two may have one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so. And if not, I know, who was it? I don't remember. Never mind. Hey, what's up, Dagan?
Oh, there he is. Hey, Dagan.
I think Gary's got a code.
But it's just strange how much strength you can get from reaching down inside and going, not anymore.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, the most honest people I know are people in recovery.
Yeah.
Because when you can stop lying to yourself, it's easy to stop lying to others,
Okay, now that we got like 20 minutes of the heavy, let's change it up a little for
Yeah,
you.
let's lighten it up a little bit.
Now, what got you onto YouTube? What made you start doing videos?
Well, it started out. I would YouTube anytime I needed to fix something on my car, and for a long time I was just subscribed to vape reviewers, new product and all that. And then on Facebook, I saw this post because when I first started recovery, I was a general manager, so I had to shave every day. And so when I got out, I started growing my beard out because I had seen the show Whisker Wars or whatever it was called. And I was like, yeah, I'd like to have the long beard. So I started growing it out, but it got real itchy, and this started getting in my ears, and I was like, oh, screw this. So I went down to a goatee, but I grew the goatee for 5 years. And I had it down where it was probably a couple feet, and it almost got caught in some rock climbing gear. So I'm like, all right, time to shorten it up. So it was a little bit longer than this. I could braid it, and I could band it, and I could do different fun stuff with it. But then it was around last October, or no, last August or September. I saw on Facebook, so and so likes badass beard care, free sample. And I'm like, beard care? I use Head and Shoulders, And so I ordered some free samples. And so I was like, okay, well, how in the hell do I use this stuff? So I Googled, badass beard care, how to use, and Scuba's video came up, his review. And so I started watching Scuba, and then he did the Christmas stream with Dan and it was Dan, Mo, Dave, Scott, and I think that was it. And so then I subscribed to all those guys, and then found Dan, and then got injured in December. So I wasn't working. And, Scuba's like, hey, if you want to make some money on the side, get a little hustle going, you can get a YouTube channel going. And I'm like, oh, yeah. But I was like, I had no idea what I would do. And then Dan and Scuba did the thing, said, hey, you should start a channel.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I've been teaching cooking classes for decades, and maybe if I do cooking, people will start to subscribe, and then I can have a platform to tell my story, because I try to tell my story as much as I can, because you never know who needs to hear it at what time. So
thank you.
But yeah, so then I started then it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And I was like, okay, well, I'll do vegan cooking tutorials, because I had recently gone plant-based. And I had quite a few friends that are plant-based or vegan that were asking me for recipes. So I was like, boom, done, simple. And then as I was plant-based, it's like, okay, now I'm looking at ingredients, seeing what I can use and what I can't use. And I can't use beeswax. So, okay, let me try to find, and most of the handmade natural soaps have goat's milk. So it was kind of a hunt for me. And I figured, well, if it's challenging for me, it's got to be challenging for other guys out there. I know I'm not the first plant-based guy in the world. So that's why I decided to do vegan grooming routines. Yeah, Joshua. Quite a few of the guys in here and girls have watched my cooking tutorials and everything. What's up, Eric? Love to see another Eric that spells his name right.
Yeah, you see, the other thing that I really love is I get where people at a higher level, not higher subscriber level. I forgot to put that in there. They'll break up their channel. Like Scuba has a car channel. He has a sneaker channel. He's got his beard thing. I like the fact that you took your stuff and you're keeping it under one banner.
Mm-hmm.
You can find beard products, you can find cooking stuff, you can find me talking. I think that's cool. It's like it's a one-stop shop,
Yeah. Yeah. And, luckily I've had, a few people have me on their live streams. I had a girl reach out to me, and she had me on her podcast. So yeah, it's working. I'm surprised for being in the game for 8 months or whatever it is that I'm getting the kind of exposure I've been lucky enough to get. I feel blessed.
I'm not, because I go back to my simple point. You're a real person. You're a straightforward person, and people want to talk to you because you have that pull that people want to get to know you. You know how you're in a store somewhere and you're like, dude, who's that? It's not because, she's hot or that dude's buff. You're just like, there's something about that guy.
What's in beard? Great question.
Yeah, most original question, Joshua.
I am rocking something I got in yesterday. I received Gentleman's Cut from Whiskey and Hardtack. New oil on the market. I bought it last week with that 25% off because I'm on a very limited budget. And hauling on are so awesome that it came all the way from there to Colorado Springs into my house 7 days, technically 6 days from when I ordered it,
Damn.
And so, yeah, my first barbershop scent.
Nice.
And I wanted to give it a go today. So that's what I got in. No butter yet. I'm still, at least 6 hours away from bed. So.
Yep. And hey, Corey, welcome to the show. For me, I started today with Johnny Slick's original scent beard oil. And recently I put in his Apple Slicks pomade, which technically I guess you could call it one of the most nourishing balms ever. It's just got wax and a bunch of oil, but it feels wonderful in beard and keeps a nice light hold.
Yeah.
Gare Bear. Corey with the swing. I love it. Oh my God. All right, Gary. I'll throw it up. I don't care. 5 out of 10. All right. What made you transition from, how should we say, a carnivore to an herbivore?
Well, like I say, I tore the living bejesus out of my rotator cuff in my on-the-job injury. And it's like, okay, well, I can't really exercise with my shoulder and I need to get healthier. I'm, tired of being diabetic. So what are some things I can do? And a friend of mine posted on Facebook, 2 of my really good friends, hey, Game Changers, go check it out. So I'm like, I got plenty of time to watch Netflix. So I watched that. And then I talked to a friend of mine that was plant-based that actually went to the same high school I did. I didn't know her back then because she's 4 years younger than me. Nice. But found out we went to the same school and she's been vegan for a while. So I talked to her and she's like, hey, watch Forks Over Knives. Okay. And then the more research I've done, it's amazing how, this culture in America says you got to have protein, you got to have protein, you got to have protein. Well, there's a town in Italy that has more centenarians than any other place in history. And they eat very little protein, animal proteins, beans, legumes, whatever. They just eat very little of it. The thing is they're active. And so, there's been plenty of studies to show that you don't need protein as much as everybody makes it out that you do. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I just, for the research I've done, for me, it works. And I don't try to push it on anybody else. And I don't judge anybody else. I'll weigh in on the steak question, because my grandpa was a cattle farmer. So I know about steaks.
I'm just saying, family disown you after that, No more steak. What?
No, actually, my mom, for Sunday dinner, we do a Sunday dinner at their house every week, or they come over here. She makes a plant-based dish for me, and then, say she makes stir fry, then she'll cook some shrimp on the side, and then my dad and her will split that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so they've been super supportive. And what's up, Beard Your Life, Joe?
This year's been an interesting year to do anything, Joe.
I'm all right. Don't nobody worry about me. Actually, that's a gopher, but
still, he's coming for you, Joe. Okay. So I know this is going to sound pretty silly because I'm sure I already know the answer. What's more stressful, being a bartender or being a chef?
chef by far.
Is it just that rush and you got to keep that ticket time to a low count? Or
It's that. It's that you'll go from the restaurant not being open and no tickets to every table being sat within 10 minutes and everybody wanting their food at the same time.
That's not for you.
Maintaining, and so you go through all that stress and that rush is over and then your stress level dives. And then whereas a bartender, you kind of get, they kind of come in and you get going and you kind of stay at the steady pace the whole night, whereas with the chef, yeah, you got the peaks and valleys. So it's like, okay, as soon as it starts dying down, all right, you go take your smoke break, you get a smoke break, just like Oprah, you get a smoke break, you get a smoke break.
Everybody gets a smoke break.
Either that or we would step under the hoods and
yeah. I've heard that happens an awful lot.
The first restaurant I worked at, but the first restaurant I worked out as a cook, we had to give $5 to our kitchen manager every paycheck, and she kept the dugout filled in the kitchen. So it's like, all right, let's get ready for the rush.
Nice. Sorry.
All right, you're up, you're on deck, because the one hitter looks like a little bat. So, all right, you're up, you're on deck, you're in the hole. And, so she would keep the kitchen supplied with weed. Hey, Holly.
I love that comment of the night. Sup, family? Holly.
But yeah, whereas when you're bartending, you can't really smoke weed, but you can do shots all night.
Isn't that really frowned on, getting drunk with your customers? Or is that like, oh God, what was that movie? Coyote Ugly or whatever, where you're chasing with the beer and spitting your whiskey in there?
No, I mean, you could do that, but if you strategically time it, if you're only doing one shot an hour and you're working at a fast pace, and we would get tips by doing it, we'd be like, all right, it's about that time for us to do a shot. You guys want to do shots? And then that's when, yeah, I'll take a shot. So
I have a mailing address. The snack bitch will get revenge. I know you don't like strawberry Pop-Tarts. Just be careful.
All right, Holly, you have a good night.
Yeah. Sleep well, Holly.
Yep. Get all that wonderful stuff ready for the Black Friday.
Yeah, no, that's creeping up. Oh, man. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, damn. Okay.
I'm just glad that a lot of the stores in the past few years that have been opening on Thanksgiving Day, including Walmart, has said this Thanksgiving, nothing's going to be open.
See, I'm kind of curious now with COVID because I hate masks. I hate the count in the stores. I hate everything. I'm like, what's going to happen on Black Friday? But seeing how I don't have a retail store, I'm good.
Yeah. Working retail, I worked at Bass Pro Shop and I worked 2 Black Fridays, one as a cashier and one back in the camping and grill department and camo. And I got to say, we opened our doors at 3:30 in the morning here. No, we opened them at 5:30. We had people starting to line up at 2 in the morning. We started giving out hot chocolate out front and beef jerky, and we started doing that at 3:30. And like when I was a cashier, all I did for that 12-hour shift was,
yeah.
Are you a Bass Pro member? Oh, okay. Are you military? Okay. And then, ring them all up.
And it looks like you got a fan there, Eric. Donald Long's been basically saying he's making his own vegan meals after watching your channel.
Oh, sweet, Donald. Yeah, I've noticed you've been commenting. I appreciate it. I try to reply back, at least, if nothing else, at least hit the thumbs up anytime somebody drops a comment. And that's not going to change. I'm going to continue to do that. But yeah, if there's something that you want to learn how to make, Donald, send me a DM on IG or whatever and say, I love this, but I have no idea how to make a plant-based version. Or I want to learn how to make this. And I'll do it for you. I did a tutorial for Holly. She wanted a soy-free stir fry.
Vegan.
Because, so I did it. I've got thousands of recipes up here, and I'm just adapting them and changing them to make them more plant-based and vegan-friendly.
Swear to God, Corey, every time I think of placing another order with you, you say something like that, I just go, huh? No.
Yeah, no. I can actually make a pretty good vegan cheese sauce. It's going to taste just good, if not better, than any of that nacho cheese that you get at a ballpark.
Straight up Beer 13, they are ordered. When they come in, I've already told Dan I'm filming a video. I got his blessing to do everything. That's why they're ordered. You're gonna love this video. It's gonna be the most unique one I have ever done. Butternut squash. Well, there you go.
Actually, it was potatoes and carrots.
Those are natural. God damn. Guys, making my head hurt enough, as if 2020 hasn't done it. Potatoes and carrots are not nachos.
Yeah, well, you haven't tried mine.
That's what she said, but
I'm a huge fan of The Office, so.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we're going to switch gears one more time. I heard, little birdie, you're a wrestling fan.
Not really currently, but when I was growing up until I would say about 2000, I used to watch. I grew up when it was still everything was on the regional scene. Yeah. So in Oklahoma, we got everything out of Texas. So the Von Erichs, the Fabulous T-Birds, Abdullah the Butcher, Bruiser Brody was everywhere. Andre was everywhere. King Kong Bundy.
Andre in your territory,
Yeah. And then when Vince started snagging up everything up north, down south, Ted Turner started snagging stuff up. So I was able to get TNT or TBS, both of them, whichever one WCW was on. Yeah, so I watched that more than I watched WWE or WWF at the time. I dig the old school stuff. It started getting crazy when ECW was out there, and you started getting tax and all other kinds of things hit and thrown at people or whatever.
Can you just wait till I get done?
Hey, what's up, Rob?
You can.
Good seeing you.
I love my kids, but can I have fruit snacks? Can I have this? Can I have this? Give me this. Give me that. Give me this. I'm like, you were just puking yesterday. No. I'm like, I don't want to do more laundry. No.
That's what I'm doing when we get done here. Yeah. Exciting life.
I know, right? I mean, seriously. But yeah, I like the Attitude Era, and I like the old school 80s wrestling where everything was, take aside the roids, but everything was really over the top, and you had some great stars out there. Mm-hmm. I don't like the PG era because everything is so just blah.
Well, they decided to mass market it to the families because they realized if they get the little kids interested in the merch, guess who's going to be spending money? Guess who's going to want to take into the shows? And so they're generating a lot more money. I just think some of the storylines are just a little ludicrous nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean,
I grew up with like Rowdy Roddy Piper, Mm-hmm. I'm like, I was transfixed, watching the Macho Man with his Hogan. Oh, yeah, Hogan. It's like, do you know how to talk in more than one syllable?
Yeah, but he was the perfect heel for Hogan. I mean, those two guys working against each other were so good together.
Yeah. It was just so many things. Like, what were they? The Ultimate Powers or something like that? The Macho Maniacs?
Yeah.
And at WrestleMania 5 when they exploded and all the hype and everything.
Yeah.
I was
And
transfixed by that, you know?
yeah, and Ron mentioned the Von Erichs. Kerry Von Erich was one of my favorites, but until I watched a documentary on them recently, I didn't know that he had his foot amputated and was wrestling all those years after that with a fake foot. He was still doing the tornado punch and, the claw.
I mean, wrestling was huge back then when the movie Highlander, have you seen that?
Oh, there could be only one.
Thank you. Like right in the beginning. So there's Connor watching a wrestling match, and it's the Four Horsemen versus the Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know who that is. Trying to explain that to my kids nowadays, because Highlander is like one of my ultimate favorite movies. Highlander 2 is an abomination. But Highlander is just,
But the series was all right. They did a decent job on the series.
I couldn't get into it that much, I'll be honest. I couldn't.
But even though the movie was great, my favorite thing of that movie, Queen did the entire soundtrack.
Yes.
And Queen also did the entire soundtrack for Flash Gordon.
Yes. That's one man I miss. Could you imagine if Freddie had been alive nowadays with a treatment for AIDS? That musical genius mother. Oh my God, we'd be having so much better music.
Oh,
nowadays.
Yeah. But Brian May, I will say, the stuff that they did with Ryan Lambert, whatever his name is, Kyle Lambert, I don't know. The guy that was on, he was on Not America's Got Talent, American Idol.
Yeah.
And they brought him in because they saw him do one of the Queen songs on American Idol. And Brian May's like, that guy's got the voice. He could do it. And then they brought him back for a few tours and, but he came through the Paramount in Denver where I used to do backstage security. And he was such a nice kid. He had 3 or 4 Make-A-Wish kids that got to come in early, and he walked them around the stage. And, the parents were just in tears because their kids were just so happy. And, to see a guy do that could do anything he wants before he starts a concert, he didn't do a VIP meet and greet. He did a meet and greet for kids, And
I also think
Adam Lambert, that's his name.
Adam Lambert. In the Queen movie, Adam Lambert was the trucker going into the male restroom, whatever that Fred turned and stared at.
Yeah.
I was just like, I thought that was a neat little seeing how he took over for Freddie and Queen. Adam's gay. They had that whole, hey, now I'm gay. And it was him. I thought that was really friggin' awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, I think that was Brian May's idea. But Brian May has been, when Queen wasn't doing anything for so long until they found Adam, he's been doing scores for movies. Yeah. And he is such an amazing musician. And then you had Freddie, who is such an amazing lyricist. You put those two guys together, just like Bernie Taupin and Elton John, you put those two guys together in a room, you're coming out with a #1 song that's going to go down in history forever.
It's just weird how you can put people like that in a room, like Freddie and David Bowie when they did Under
Pressure.
Thank you. It was one take, done, cut. There you go. It was beautiful. First go.
Favorite Queen song, by the way.
And it's also weird how you can put Freddie in a recording studio, but yet when you put him on a big stage, it is an entirely different thing. And you could see Queen back-to-back nights, and it's going to be 2 entirely different shows. That is just amazing to see in like Live Aid. It's still one of the things I remember from my childhood. Just little things that made that, like his tour manager, bribing the guy, just moving the volume up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really weird if you go back and you watch the video from there, the volume's so low on everybody else. And then that first note of the piano, it was something different when Freddie came on.
Well, and also Concert for Life. A lot of people watched it at the time, not near as many as Live Aid, but it was the first AIDS awareness fundraiser.
Yeah.
And basically, Queen was there, and then everybody came and performed a song with Queen. So, like, Hetfield from Metallica went and he sang a song, and you know, and for Under Pressure, it was Annie Lennox and David Bowie. Amazing.
Yes.
And then there was one person, because most of the male singers that sang parts didn't even attempt to hit those notes. One singer did, and completely changed my perception of him. George Michael. He came out and did a Queen song and hit every single note and paid great homage, but still made the vocals his own. And that, that was way far different than Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
Yeah, and Donald, I'll be honest with you, I did watch Rocket Man. I expected a little bit more of it. It turned into me more of a musical than it was a movie, and I'm not really big into musicals, so that kind of colored some things differently for me. But, speaking of Elton John, that's also one of the funniest stories ever from Live Aid. I love how Henry Rollins called, Freddie's performance, it was a Nuremberg rally with music, because everybody into it, the clapping and everything. And if I remember this correctly, Elton John backstage was supposed to follow Freddie on stage, and he threw a fit like you wouldn't believe, going, how the fuck am I supposed to follow
that? How is anybody going to follow
that? There.
How is anybody going to follow that?
For that 20 minutes, he took over the world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember being glued to MTV that weekend.
Yeah.
I was in high school, I think, when Live Aid happened. I don't know. I graduated high school in '86, so whenever it happened. But I was in high school.
I was a freshman in '86, so yeah. Whew, see, we're not that off.
Yeah, music's one of my passions. I've been in bands. I've been in choir since grade school, church choir after that, youth ensemble, show choir, duets, church ensemble, youth church choir. I've been in probably 5 or 6 different bands.
Thanks,
yeah,
Mick.
I miss getting up on stage and singing.
Thanks, Mick.
Hey, man, Mick is one of the few guys that's actually been to the very first restaurant I worked at 14 years old, El Chico's in Enid, Oklahoma. It's no longer there, but Mick has eaten there.
Nice. All right, brother, we're switching gears one more time. I talked about this in the beginning. You ready for a lightning round?
Oh, you betcha.
All right, now this is going to be a little bit off because there's actually some food questions, so I'm going to have to skip the first 3 because it's kind of dumb to say, do you prefer chicken or fish when you're plant-based?
Well, you can still do that. I can still talk about what I used to eat, what my favorite.
Okay. Chicken or fish?
Definitely seafood.
Okay, burgers or tacos?
Back then I would have said burgers. Now I'm saying tacos but they're both so versatile.
Yeah. And if you want to look at it this way, it's kind of like a push because a taco is just kind of like a sideways burger.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Both just conveyances for the stuffing.
Exactly. Now, those really, God, how can I put it? You're from my age. You know those Dagwood sandwiches, the sub sandwiches that are packed full of everything, or pizza?
I would definitely go pizza. But I worked at a place in Vegas called Boogie's Diner. And Boogie, did you ever see the movie Diner?
Yes.
Mickey Rourke's character was Boogie. Boogie is the guy that started Merry-Go-Round Records, or Merry-Go-Round Clothing, that was big in the 80s in every mall.
Yeah.
Just like it was his kind of autobiography that got that movie going. And just like Boogie said, or Mickey Rourke said in the movie, man, whenever I get rich, I'm opening my own diner. Well, he did. He did it in Vegas and he did it in Aspen. But it wasn't just a diner. It was like 50% like Harley clothes and leather jackets and jeans, and 50% a 50 style diner. And we had the Dagwood, and it was one of every sandwich we served, and it was
that pile. Yeah.
yeah, and I don't know, and can't reference size here. Um, I would say the toothpicks were 24-inch toothpicks.
Damn.
So the sandwich was almost it was about 1.5 feet tall.
Damn.
Yeah. And the cool thing there, I actually made a burger for Shaq. First burger that ever filled him up.
Wow. Look at that smile. I can see that beard moving. Look at that. He's like, that's right.
Yeah, because Shaq was early in his career, and the server came up to me. I was on grill that night, and he's like, yeah, this order with the double cheeseburger. He's like, that's for Shaquille. And he asked me if he should order 2 because 1 normally won't fill him up. And I'm like, challenge accepted. I'll fill him up. So I took 2 half-pound patties, put those together for one of the patties, 2 half-pound patties. So 2 1-pound patties. I put it on a larger platter so I could get about 3 times as many fries as usual. And then he got himself 2 chocolate shakes as well. Well, later on in the night, the guy comes up and he's like, here you go. There's $100 bill. And I'm like, no, keep that for yourself, man. I'm a cook. He's like, he took very good care of me. He said, this is for the guy. First time ever I've been filled up by 1 hamburger.
Damn.
I'm like, all right.
You wasn't
the first time I've cooked for athletes and celebrities. Wasn't the last time. I made sushi for the Big Show. I know you're a wrestling fan.
Oh, yeah. I like the Big Show.
Yeah, the Big Show was a super nice guy.
Damn. There's just so many levels to you. So many more.
The beauty of ADHD, you change jobs a lot.
Okay, pressing on with this one. What's your favorite music genre?
Ooh, I literally listen to everything except for smooth jazz and modern country. Outlaw country, Merle, Willie, all those guys love it. Raised on it. Mom being English, I was raised on the Beatles and the Stones. I got my first Led Zeppelin album from Mom and Dad. But I would have to say the one constant that's always been there is just straightforward hard rock and roll.
Nice. All right.
And I do love punk music. No Effects is one of my favorite bands. Pennywise, Social D, seen them all in concert multiple times. I've been to over 1,000 concerts easily between what I've worked and been to.
Nice. All right, brother. Favorite movie?
Ooh. I don't know if you know, but me and Joe just started Beards on Film.
I did watch part of that.
And to say one overall, that's tough. So I'll say the one that I watch at least once a year. Monty Python and Holy Grail.
Dude! Yes! It's just a flesh wound. And the freaking killer rabbit.
Yep.
Look at the bones. Oh my God, awesome. All right, brother. Baseball or hockey?
Hockey all day long. I used to work at Avalanche games. Love that Colorado Avalanche.
Nice. Football or basketball?
I'm 5'6". I'm fairly lightly complected. So basketball was never really my thing, even though I used to play basketball with 2 guys that went into the NBA, but I prefer watching football. Go Broncos.
Nice. All right, man. What is your favorite song?
Favorite song? Flogging Molly, Worst Day Since Yesterday.
Oh my God, that's a great one. Seriously,
that's the first one that came to mind. So,
oh, I saw them when they came to Seattle a couple years ago with Dropkick Murphys, and they had an opening act that was like a one-man band from Ireland. It was a lot of fun.
I've seen Dropkick multiple times. I've seen Flogging multiple times. I actually drank till about 4 a.m. with Dropkicks.
Okay, you can stop talking now. I'm jealous. I'm officially jealous. All right. All right, brother. Now, this is the one that seems to stump a lot of people, and this should be interesting for you.
Okay.
If you could only pick one men's grooming company for the rest of your life, What is it?
I would say purely for the fact that I can use every single one of the products. There's other companies that I use more, but being the fact that Michael, the owner and operator from Last Looks, is vegan,
Nice.
I don't have to read ingredients on his stuff. If something comes up, I don't have to look at the ingredients. I might look at the scent profile, but I don't have to do any research on ingredients.
Yeah.
So just for that reason alone, because if I'm stranded on an island and I won't have internet, so I can't see reviews. So yeah, Last Looks, get airdropped in every month or whatever.
Alrighty. What's your favorite ice cream? Well, you could have it. I'm not sure if there's vegan ice cream. So
yeah, and I'm gonna get an ice cream maker next spring and do vegan recipes because I've actually done them in the past. I would say if I'm gonna buy it, peppermint ice cream, mainly because it's only available this time of year. Yeah. And if I'm gonna make it, it would be a chocolate cinnamon cayenne.
Ooh, that sounds, yeah,
so good. But yeah, like spicy food.
That actually sounds pretty good. All right, I've added this one in recently. Do you use biotin?
Yes.
Nice. Do you go like over the shelf? Do you buy from a company?
I get that where I get all my supplements, which is Costco, because Costco it's not like Walmart that'll carry anything. Costco puts research into what they put on their shelves.
Okay.
And they won't put anything that's bad on their shelves.
Okay. So, what's your favorite holiday?
For just purely the holiday itself, Halloween. For preparing food, definitely Thanksgiving.
Okay. Now, I know COVID has destroyed and changed and just my channel, I don't give a fuck, fucked up a lot of shit in 2020. All right.
I was self-isolating before that because of my injury. So COVID just kind of screwed me up a little bit.
So has COVID changed your beard washing schedule at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Because especially now, my dad's going to turn 82 in a few weeks. My mom is 75. So I run errands for them and stuff. So, I try to be they're both high risk. So I do as much as I can to eliminate them getting anything happening to them. So, yeah. And, I just got this new Command Daily Wash. I know somebody that makes it. Pretty good stuff. And I know somebody who did a review.
Too bad he's a punk ass. Gee, Gary, I wonder who we're talking about. Punk. What's up? All right, brother, are you more of a balm or butter kind of guy?
Currently with my length, more of a butter guy, and especially because I only know of one or two companies that balm doesn't have beeswax. But yeah. I do know one company owner that told me that they are currently working on a vegan balm. So I'm really looking forward to that, especially if I go down to a business beard.
Okay, and before we get to the next two questions, I've been checking. In case anybody out there wants to know, in the Electoral College, it's basically a dead heat right now. Biden's at 85, Trump's at 72. Biden somehow is leading in Texas and Trump is leading in Florida. So 2020 still screwing with everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the last two questions are the most burning questions in the beard community. Everybody wants to know. Back when you ate steak, how did you take yours?
Well, like I said earlier, my grandpa was a cattle rancher, and that's how we had meat proteins, is he would slaughter a cow every time we'd come out to the farm. Mm-hmm. And the neighbors would slaughter pigs for us. So knowing somebody that developed a breed that at the National Western Stock Show won gold medal for his beef, I learned how to cook a steak from him.
Okay, so how did you
medium rare?
Medium rare. There we go. Now let's get to the other one that's going to cause people to have fits and cry and whine, and it's going to be funny if Joe's still in here. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Well, where I apprenticed was called Guido's Pizza with an Attitude.
Oh, dear God. Sorry.
You want to know what the attitude is? You don't like the attitude? Get the fuck out.
I'm just saying, you're talking about an Italian pizzeria, Guido's.
Yeah. And so my boss, who I apprenticed under for 2.5 years to learn how to be a chef, we didn't have any fucking pineapple in the building.
Nice, brother. Nice. Well, that's it from my lightning round. I know in the green room you said you wanted to ask some questions. So
yeah,
it's your turn. Let's turn this around tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're watching, I'm stealing from your channel because he asked.
All righty. Favorite music genre overall that you listen to the most?
See, I'm a huge wide variety. I can go from Dropkick Murphys to Celtic Woman to a movie soundtrack in a heartbeat, but I will go with rock right now because I'm listening to more and more of that.
Okay. Favorite all-time comedian?
I'll give you two-part answer.
That can be a comedic actor or stand-up comedian.
Yeah, I'll give you a two-part.
Okay.
When I was growing up, it was Richard Pryor, because you want to talk about someone who broke all the barriers. I still remember watching Saturday Night Live when Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase had that skit where they had the censors really big. Yeah. And he
honky.
Word, he's like dead honky, you know? But Richard
hey, what's up, Devin?
And currently I'm gonna say Christopher Titus.
Okay. Yeah, I worked at Comedy Works up in Denver. That was the number 4 club in the country at the time. And Josh was mentioning Ron White, super nice guy. Most times when you see a comedian on stage and he's drinking a beer or a whiskey or whatever, it's a beer bottle with water in it, or it's Coke and Sprite mixed together. Ron White, it was always a single malt, and that cigar was always real and always got smoked.
See, the
great guy.
First one I ever think I caught doing that was Dean Martin, where he had the apple juice in the glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he would pretend to be. He would play the drunk guy of the Rat Pack. Yep. Pryor or George Carlin? Ooh, that's tough. But I can tell you, my all-time favorite comedian, Bill Hicks. If you don't know who he is, YouTube. You will not be sorry.
And Bill Rivers, with that choice, I'm going to go with Pryor. I love Carlin. Oh my God, I love him. But just Pryor, you did not know what he was going to say when he came on stage.
I would go with Carlin just purely for the fact I love wordplay, and with his education and with his Catholic upbringing and the fact that, you know, in the Kevin Smith movie Dogma, he plays a cardinal. I thought that was perfect, so I would go with Carlin.
The Buddy Christ.
Yeah. So Ryan,
what else you got, man?
Oh yeah, I forgot I was the one asking the questions.
Yeah.
Favorite meal? Like, you can have anything, price is no object. You can have whoever you want cook it. What are you going to have for dinner? Or breakfast or lunch or dessert? It's your choice.
I know this is going to sound like a bit of a cop-out, but I've always been a easy kind of guy. When I had my first Kobe steak with some great fries that the chef made up, oh dear,
probably in duck fat.
Yeah, if I could have that more than like once in a lifetime, yes, just that.
What cut?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever you throw on the plate, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I would go ribeye.
I just, steak, gimme. You know? But if I've got my choice, it's just a big old meat lover's pizza. And really, I just pile on the meat and I'm good.
Okay. All right. If you could go back in time and see somebody in concert that you cannot see today, any time period, what concert would you go see?
Live Aid, Freddie Mercury. I want to see that 20 minutes live. Whenever Whenever I'm having a really bad time and I need to center myself and just escape for 20 minutes, I seriously pull that up, put on the headphones, turn the volume all the way up, and you just get that refresher of watching the crowd, watching him just dominate, and knowing it wasn't auto-tuned, and knowing it was there, it was live, and just,
And Edward Ryder, mine would be the Doors at Red Rocks up in Morrison, Colorado. It's one of the venues they played before he died. And the Doors, when I was younger, Jim Morrison was the coolest MFer around.
right?
Okay. Any pop culture, historical person or whatever that you could sit down and have a coffee or a beer or libation of your choice?
I would seriously love to sit down with Kevin Smith and have a beer with that man and just talk to him about how he became so self-made. People made fun of his movies for so long, but to think that Clerks was like his first ever film, and it's still talked about,
Oh. And Clerks 2 has one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in any movie. I'm sorry, Jesus.
Yeah. I just the fact he's created such amazing characters and such an incredible world.
Yeah.
In all his movies, and like when he did Dogma, how he got all those superpowers together at basically nothing. They were all like, "We want to work with you."
Yeah. Well, and Damon and Affleck have been in. Well, Affleck's been in more.
Yeah.
He started Chasing Amy, but Damon and Affleck have been in more than one of his movies, and anybody that's in one of his movies is pretty much going to make an appearance in another one. And I was really glad that Jay and Silent Bob reboot came out while I was out of commission, because I watched the first day it was available to stream on Amazon. All right, that's my questions. Any questions from the Peanut Gallery?
Yeah, guys, fire them up, because we're going to do a wrap up here in a little bit with election night, and my kids are really curious about a whole bunch of stuff. I want to make sure I'm there for them tonight. I've hid the Nerf gun, so they're not going to have a war tonight.
Hopefully there's no war on the streets either.
Yeah. One of the huge things I do with my kids is I make them sit down and try to learn something. Like in 2016, we watched everything. So the Democratic stuff, the Republican stuff, we watched everything all the way through. And then on election night, we watched all that. Just like this year, but still, we're watching it and, going through it. And I hate this with StreamYard. But we're going to do it like this. If a question pulls up before we have to go, Eric, bro, or hold on, here we go.
What gets me fired up to do my channel? Being able to help somebody feed themselves or learn how to cook, or learn how to cook with dietary restrictions. That's been a pleasure of mine for a long time. And especially if somebody just found out they have celiac. Almost every single recipe I do is gluten-free as well as plant-based. But I'm not pushy about it. There's no judgment for me. If you eat steak all day long and you want to try one of my recipes, I mentioned in the tutorials, the most common thing is chicken with this, or pork shoulder, like with the green chili, pork shoulder. And this is what, I got no problem. I've answered DMs. I've given people recipes that aren't anywhere close to being plant-based. And I've given people with really strict dietary restrictions, I've been able to give them options. So that's what gets me fired up.
Now, hold on before you answer this one. And I'll give you my answer. I love doing my channel simply because I try to look at things differently than most other people do. I know when I was talking with Bearded Life a little while ago, he was like, I'm really happy you don't, in all your videos, try to break your blade. I'm so sick and tired of watching knife reviews where you see someone taking something like this that has one purpose only, and that's to put the pointy end in somebody, and they'll put it on a log and take a baseball bat to it and go, failure, 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 failure. I'm like, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, that's what you get for being a knife to a bat fight.
Pretty much. It's just like when I've done my step parent series or my life series, how I've had certain people reach out and they're like, dude, you helped.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you never know one day to the next what you're going to get.
Yeah. And I've had people reach out saying, hey, my brother or my best friend or whatever, they're struggling. I know they're wanting to get better, but they don't know how. And I've found resources for them in whatever area they're in. And if I've got contacts in that area, I see if it's okay to pass along their information. And, so that gets me fired up as well. And why am I going down to a business beard? Well, I had my injury in December and I had a doctor visit today and I'm still on restrictions. And with my restrictions, I can't do my job. And I might be changing career paths. I'm almost positive I'm going to be changing careers. So, a lot of people aren't as open to the big beard as they are the business beard.
Yeah.
So at least for the interview process, I think having a nice, tight and clean business beard might make a little bit easier of a first impression, not better impression.
Yeah.
Just easier, because when you're doing, I've done so many interviews for myself, and as a manager, I've hired so many people that you want to do everything you possibly can to get your foot in that door. And you don't want to do anything that might keep your foot from getting in that door. And, I might come across, an HR person whose loved one has a big beard and they love it. Or they have a significant other who has a beard, but they don't know how to take care of it. And so it's dry and scratchy and, and they don't want that around. So I'm just, that's why I'm considering going down to a business beard.
And Pete, there you go, brother. It's just a Gerber logo with basically some wings. And the year the company came into being, 1939. That's it. Nothing big. All right. Anybody else?
Going once.
Yeah, right.
Going twice.
All right, man. So if something rolls in, we'll take care of it before we sign off. But Eric, what do you have coming up for your channel?
Well, like I said, I did my first vlog yesterday, and I've got some people reach out to me, and so I think that's gonna, I'll just kind of keep people informed on how my recovery is going, because my recovery is something that for me isn't going to end. I'm going to constantly be trying to improve myself and be the best Eric I can be. So, probably, maybe once a month or something on the vlog. Joe Downey, Barbado Joe, and I have Beards on Film.
Yep.
It's going to be every other Saturday. We had our debut on Halloween. So on November 15th, let me make sure. I'm pretty sure it's Saturday, November 15th, is going to be our next episode. And we're going to take turns kind of picking genres.
Okay.
And being that we just did scary movies and we're dealing with the election and everything, Saturday, November 14th, we're doing silly movies.
There we go.
And then, I'm going to continue to do my unboxings when I get them. And, when I'm feeling healthy and I'm feeling good, I'll be doing one cooking tutorial a week and one grooming video a week. And starting probably next week, I'll start doing side dishes or potluck dishes that people can take to their potlucks or their family dinners or whatever. How many work potlucks are going to be with COVID? I don't know. But that way they can take something that they know is plant-based and yummy and good. And last year I made a gluten-free vegan stuffing, took it to a party with about 30 people. Everybody that tried it came up and said, man, that was the best stuffing I've ever had. I didn't bother. The only person I told it was gluten-free was the person that was allergic to gluten. The only person I told was vegan was the vegan. So
nice. All right, guys. And as I usually do, tomorrow, my video, I went looking through the ones I've already shot because everyone knows I do a lot of block filming on the weekends. I've had a video sitting around for 2 years that I haven't posted.
Oh.
So it's going up tomorrow. It's the last book review I ever shot. Well, I will be shooting more, but this was the last one I shot. It's been sitting around for 2 years.
Okay.
And I always do when I close these things. My guest for next week, scheduled at this point, is Rodney from Big Man Bearded. He's getting his own time out there, and, you know, it's going to be fun to bring him on. Now, Eric, I want to thank you, brother. And here's something I forgot to touch on, and I'm going to say this, and we'll see who watched till the end of the show so they can catch this one. When I had my issue and I stood up and went, I'm putting a pause on drinking for 30 days, you were the first guy who reached out. You were the very first and went, look, if you want to talk, I'm here.
Yeah.
You didn't push. You didn't attack. You didn't go, you need to do this, and that. You were you. You were friendly. You were awesome. And you were who you are tonight. You were there. You talked. And you were just yourself.
Thanks. Well, one thing I didn't really mention it earlier, I don't think I did, is you're never going to hear judgment from me about anything. You know, with all the shit I've done in my past, I got no right to be judging anybody. It's none of my business to be judging people. All I'm going to do is try to support you and lift you up. And, you know, if you want somebody to help, that's why I'm here. I'm not here to say, stop this, don't do that. You need to try this. This is for you. No, I'm not a drill sergeant anymore. Now I'm Sober Chef Eric, you know.
Yeah, but it's refreshing to see that because so many people, and there's that really bad joke out there, what's worse than a recently sober alcoholic, a born-again Christian? Because everyone's like, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. You don't know what you're doing, do it this way, do it. And
Joshua, yeah, you can reach out to me. IG is normally the best way. But yeah, Josh, you can reach out. Anyone can reach out. I mean, that's the main reason I did this channel, is to have an opportunity to have a platform to talk to people and help people.
And that's what you're doing. And guys, I will tell you from talking to him, you really want to, because he is a great guy, not just from this, but I've been talking to him behind the scenes in other areas. And
for a few months now.
Yeah. And I'm very happy. Like I said, we got you on tonight. It has been an immense amount of fun. We're going to have you back at another point in the future. When I say we, because my kids always make an appearance somewhere. Yeah. So I have to say we.
Hey, you know? I love the kids. I am the most happy uncle when I'm around my nephews. You know, I don't need kids. I'm an uncle.
Nice, man. Alrighty, guys, we're going to close it up like that. And I always say this in every single video that I do. Guys, if you're having any kind of problems, make sure you reach out to anybody. You never know what words can be said to you at that point that can change your freaking life. I hope all of you are having a great night tonight. Seriously, now more than ever, I hope you're being safe tonight and you're not caught up in any shenanigans out there. And I'm going to close it like this. Whoever wins, I hope we stop this. Not my president crap, not my this crap, not my that crap. Stop worrying about being red or blue or pink or purple or yellow or green and be freaking Americans again. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
I got one quick thing.
Good.
It doesn't cost anything to be nice to other people.
Truth.
One kind deed can change somebody's life. You never know who just holding that door open for them. They could be having the worst day of their life. And you holding their door open shows, hey, people are good out there. There is good people. So it does not cost one penny to be kind.
Gary, you're a dick, but I love it. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next video.